Very good day, my dear student. Today we will learn the unit 5, that is your green skills. So in this topic we learn about the major environment, natural resources and its conservation. It is most literal sense, like environment means are simply means what are surroundings. Okay, hence the environment of an individual object, element or system includes all other entities which is in our surrounding. So, first we'll see the natural environment. What does it mean by natural environment? Our environment is everything that surround us. What are our surroundings like? Our trees is there, mountains, roads, building, things, and even people. This all what are surroundings which are available in our environment. Okay, it is a combination of both natural and human made elements. You agree with, like like roads is the human made elements, but what is mountain is what natural made element. Okay, these elements are divided into two types, biotic and abiotic. What do you mean by biotic? Biotic elements are all the living organisms, and abiotic elements are what your non-living things like land, air, water, plants and animal all comprises the natural environment. Let us learn about different domains of natural environment like lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. So lithosphere is what? It is a solid crust or the hard top layer of the earth. It is made up of rocks and minerals and covered with a thin layer of soil. The lithosphere is an irregular surface with mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys, landforms, etc. These are what your lithosphere. Next is your hydrosphere. What do you mean by hydrosphere? It is the domain of water. Lithosphere, it is a solid crust or hard top layer. So, the hydrosphere is what? It is a domain of water. It comprises of various sources of water and different types of water bodies like rivers, lakes, seas, oceans. Okay. Next is atmosphere. It is the thin layer of air that surrounds the earth. It is held by the gravitational force of the earth. The atmosphere protects us from the harmful UV rays from the sun by blocking them out. Next one is your biosphere, which includes all life, including all the things are known as what? Biosphere. It is a zone of earth where land, water and air interact with each other to support the life. Next one is your ecosystem. What do you mean by ecosystem now? Community of living and non-living organism living interdependently with each other is called what? Your ecosystem, like forest, pond, etc. An ecosystem is a dynamic entity with constant interaction occurring among the organisms and with the surrounding. The plants release oxygen after photosynthesis and absorb carbon dioxide released by the animals. Like animals die and degenerate into fertile organic matter useful for plant. Okay. So relationship between the society and environment. Man had been very closer to the environment ages ago. Man was living in much compliance to the command of the nature. Nature was man's heaven. As man advanced in knowledge and technology, this relationship was severed with the gap between the two. As various phenomena of environment like weather, different terrains, etc. influence our life, our actions too put a great impact on the environment. What are the great impact or the disastrous effect which affect what your society and environment, like rapid endangerment of rare animals and plant species due to extensive poaching, greater demand for precious animal parts and ornamental goods, erosion of soil and deterioration of soil fertility, water pollution due to fertilizers, pesticides, domestics and industrial waste, air pollution due to toxic industrial emission and fuel combustion, deforestation, floods, forest fires, volcanic eruption, drought, global warming, radioactive waste and ozone depletion, drastic negative effect on human health, especially the child health. Okay, next is your deforestation. What do you mean by deforestation? Deforestation is when humans remove or clear large areas of forest lands and related ecosystem of non-forest use is known as what? Deforestation. This include the clearing for farming purpose, ranching and urban use. In these cases, trees are never replanted since the industrial age. About half of world's original forests have been destroyed and millions of animals and living things have been endangered. Like how we can destroy our forest land, like trees are cut down, so deforestation for many reasons, including why we cut our trees: for deforestation, to be used, sold, or exported as timber, wood, or fuel, charcoal. This is called logging. Next is to be used for farming purposes, like grazing fields for livestock or large-scale farming activities, to make room for human settlements and urbanization. This includes making space for shelter, industries, and roads, and to make room for mining. For these reasons, we cut for trees for deforestation. Next is your pollution. The contamination of the surrounding environment by the addition of foreign or unwanted substances known as what here? Pollution. And anything which makes the surrounding environment unhealthy or unfit for the living is known as what here? Pollution. There are various pollutions. First is air pollution. The pollution which is available in air, we could be include it as what here? Air pollution. Like contamination of air, thus making it unfit for breathing, is known as air pollution. Like it is measured in terms of particular matter per concentration present in the air, that is PM 2.5 and PM 10, which means particles smaller than 2.5 and 10 micrometers. Okay, like smoke from vehicles, chimneys, burning of wood, this all causes what here? Air pollution. What are the effects which causes the air pollution? Like is posing a serious threat to both flora and fauna. Okay, air pollution is believed to end lives of over 20 lakh people every year. Like incurable respiratory diseases among animals, orist rainfalls, acid rain, global warming, this all are being affected by what air pollution. Now what are the solution if air pollution has been affected? So the industry should be set up far from residential areas, and proper filters should be used to check out toxic emissions from the industries. Deforestation should be stopped and afforestation should be prompted. Power plants emissions should be controlled. Migrating towards cleaner sources of energy like solar and wind energy should be implemented. Next one is water pollution. Contamination of water bodies, thus making it unfit for consumption or use, is known as what? Water pollution. To pollute your water areas could be termed as what here? Water pollution. It is majorly caused due to discharge of harmful chemical waste by industries directly into water bodies. For the effects, like sooner or later, if the misuse of water is not stopped, then pure drinking water won't be available of consumption. Right now as well, just because of pollution and misuse of resources, water table has already depleted from its normal level, and the water which is available is again in impure form, which can cause serious disease like cholera, diarrhea, or typhoid. Okay, what are the solution if water pollution has been affected? The domestic and sewage water should be recycled by correctly mixing it with soil, which increases the fertility of soil. The industrial toxic waste, on the other hand, should not be disposed of directly in the water bodies at all. Okay, now next one is your global warming and greenhouse effect. Global warming occurs when carbon dioxide and other air pollutants like fluorocarbon, and greenhouse gases collect into the atmosphere and absorb sunlight and solar radiation that have bounced off and Earth's surfaces. Normally, this radiation would escape into space, but these pollutants, which can last for years to increase into the atmosphere, trap the heat and cause the planet to get hotter. Using this effect, the global warming and greenhouse effects come across. Okay, endangered species and habitat, like humans are largely responsible when animals become extinct, endangered, or threatened. So human destroys precious habitat, the natural environment of a living thing, when they fulfill the swamps and marshes, dam rivers, and cut down trees to build homes. Alternatively, what happens that we harm what your animals. Okay, so we should not harm our animals, we should not make laws of them. Next is a radioactive waste and e-waste. What are the radioactive waste? See, radioactive waste gets to pre-treatment, then treatment, and then conditioning. That particular treatment in what? Exempt the waste and nuclear material for reuse or recycle, and then the disposal should be made. Okay, so radioactive waste is nuclear fuel that is produced after being used inside of a nuclear reactor. It is the radioactive material and is very dangerous to anyone. This is very dangerous and remains this way for not just a few years but for thousands of years. It must be handled in the right manner, not so not to cause a ton of devastation in the world, and industries like mining, defense, medicines in this area should not be it should be handled. Okay. Next is green economy. What do you mean by green economy? Human greed, heavy industrialization, rampant over exploitation of natural resources has brought the humans and environment to the brink of destruction. As economics struggle to recover, many are taking a closer look at the broad concept of green economy, one that simultaneously promotes sustainability and economic growth. A green economy is looked upon as an alternative vision for growth and development. It can generate the growth and improvement in the life of the people and sustain the development. What is the importance of green economy? The green economy addresses low carbon emissions, efficient use of resources, and social benefit. Better and steady growth in income, proper employment opportunities, and related activities needs to be more public oriented, promote the private investment to reduce the carbon emissions and pollutions, and enhances the energy efficient and prevents the damage to biodiversity and economy. So by these areas we could green economy becomes important in our life. How we could be able to achieve the green economy? Green economy initiatives are imperative in the prevalent conditions of man-environment relationship, though a challenging task. Okay, so there are various general steps by which we could be able to achieve this daunting goal. Let's discuss political commitment. How we could be able to how achieve green economy. Political parties and strategy devising the government body should commit to the green growth path for economy. This could include better research and development resorting to innovate the renewable technologies in the industries. Second part is your legal and regulatory framework. How policies need to include a binding and enforceable framework for green regulatory system to prevent the climate change challenges. Laws must be enforced with heavy hand to eliminate the damages to environment, and countries like Denmark is an example that demonstrate the wise planning can generate the income and economic growth using what your green economy. Next is a green policies. Policies maker should not proper mechanisms in place to prevent the natural resource use and abuse. Like secondly, government bodies need to re-evaluate subsidy provisions and promote the funding for entrepreneurs that provide the innovative solutions to energy issues. Government need to promote and support private green investments like R&D support and increase the efficiencies of existing systems. Technology viable, like public funds to support renewable technologies for geopolitical and climate conditions, government fundings for resource gap assessment, finding solution for resource gaps. These are used for technology viability. Next is institutional setup. We should have the proper institutional setup for adopting and adapting to innovate the solutions and attract new investment for solar energy, biogas, windmills, and etc. This was about your green sales. Thank you.